Hello students, welcome to my class. Today I'll teach you how to calculate compound interest on a certain sum of money, that is principal, for a certain period of time, compounded at different intervals. It can be yearly, it can be half yearly, that is semi-annually. Actually, when we had learnt simple interest, there is a video you can look for in my video. We saw the method to calculate by taking different examples where we had to calculate compound interest, simple interest, principal. Here, since it is for standard 8, I have taken only the simple ones and explain whatever is needed to you now. Today I'll explain the difference between the compound interest and simple interest, solve different questions for you so that you know the different methods to solve. Please like, share and subscribe my channel, children. Let's begin. Now, let me begin with the difference between compound interest and simple interest. So, a very basic difference. In simple interest, which we had already done in one of my videos, the principal remains same, constant for the entire period of time, be it 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 2.5 years, any period of time. But in compound interest, the principal changes after a fixed interval of time which is mentioned in the question, whether it is compounded annually or semi-annually. So there is a different conversion period. If the time is 2 years and it is compounded annually, then there are 2 conversion periods. If the time is 1 year and it is compounded half yearly, then there are 2 conversion periods. As in, it is actually the amount obtained at the end of each period becomes the principal for the next period. For example, if rupees 8,000 is lended for 3 years at 5% per annum, for a simple interest, the principal remains 8,000 for all the 3 years. But for compound interest, the principal changes every year. That is, the amount at the end of 1 year becomes a principal for the second year, and it goes on like this. Now, I will be helping you out by explaining it through many examples. The first question that I have taken for you all is calculate the difference between the compound interest and the simple interest on rupees 10,000 in 2 years at 5% per annum, and here I have done it by simple interest method. There are actually 2 methods to calculate compound interest. One is by simple interest method, another is by formula method. I'll teach you both. For this question I have taken simple interest method. For compound interest, year wise we will calculate. So for the first year, the principal is 10,000, given the rate is 5%. So the interest at the end of first year is PRT by 100, substitute rupees 500. And the amount at the end of first year is principal plus interest is rupees 10,500. This amount at the end of first year becomes the principal for the second year. Again, the interest calculated by PRT by 100. This gets added to the principal to get the amount at the end of second year. So finally, the compound interest will be amount minus principal, and it is 1025. This was compound interest. There were 2 conversion periods because the time period was 2 years compounded annually. For simple interest, it is straight PRT by 100, 2 years time, 10,000 principal, 5%, and it is 1,000 difference will be compound interest minus simple interest, that is 25 rupees. How? This is the working. So it is compound interest where the principal changes after every conversion period. Second question. A man borrowed rupees 20,000 for 2 years at 8% per annum compound interest, so compounded annually. Calculate the interest of the first year, the interest of the second year, the final amount at the end of the second year, and the compound interest of 2 years. So we go back to the repetition of what we did just now. We just don't find the difference. First, principal, time, rate. Interest of the first year, PRT by 100, time is 1 and it is 1600. First question's answer. Then we find the amount because we need the principal for the second year. So principal plus interest will give you 21,600 as the principal for the second year. So the interest for the second year, again PRT by 100, this is 1728 principal for the second year. The final amount at the end of second year, principal plus interest, formula we had already done. So children, I would suggest please watch the simple interest video and come back. We add and we get the final amount. The interest at the end of 2 year, amount minus the principal. We can also add the interest at the end of 1 year and interest at the end of second year, and we get the same answer. Both the methods I have shown it to you. Please pay attention and solve all the questions that is given in your text. You need a lot of practice. It will definitely help you. I'm telling you, this video will help you. Let me go back to the second questions. You may get a question here that if a certain amount is paid at the end of first year. So what you are going to do is, from the principal that you get for the second year, you subtract the money that you have paid at the end of 1 year. So the principal for the second year is changed. Suppose a person has borrowed this money. He can't repay the entire amount at the end of 2 years. So he wants to pay back a little portion of money at the end of 1 year, maybe 10,000. So you'll have to subtract 10,000 from here. So the principal for your second year will be 11,600. Actually, this type of question is there in your textbook in the exercise. So this explanation will help you. Next question, number 3. Calculate the amount and the compound interest on rupees 5,000 in 1.5 year when the interest is compounded half yearly at the rate of 20% per annum. In this case, the compound interest is compounded after 6 months. So out of 1.5 year, there are 3 conversion periods. Had it been only 1 year, compounded half yearly would have been 2 conversion periods. It's 1.5 years, so half plus half plus half. There are 3 conversion periods. I'm going back to that same simple interest method. For the first half year, principal 5,000, which is given in the question, time half year, first conversion, rate 20%, PRT by 100, substitute 500, added amount at the end of 1 year. This becomes your principal for the next half year. Principal, time again half year, 6 monthly, and rate 20%, substituted PRT by 100, calculated interest amount at the end of 1 year, added to the principal 5,500 plus 550 is 6,050 rupees. This becomes the principal for the third conversion period. So again, principal 6050 time half year, rate 20%, substitute 605. So the final amount is principal plus interest is the amount. Compound interest, subtract the principal 5000 and you get the compound interest. I hope you understand. I have explained both the methods, compounded annually in question number 2, compounded half yearly in question number 3 by simple interest method. Question number 4. Find the amount and compound interest on rupees 16,000 in 3 years by 10% per annum compounded annually or yearly. That means there are 3 conversion periods. So principal N, that represents the conversion periods, rate small r 10%, okay, by formula method, and the formula is amount is given by P bracket 1 plus r by 100 to the power n. Substitute here. 16,000 is the principal, 1 plus 10 by 100 rate percent to the power 3 conversion period. So cancel, it becomes 1 by 10, added 11 by 10 to the power 3, multiplied thrice, 3 zeros will get cancelled, 16 into 11 into 11 into 11. I have calculated and written, you all please calculate in your rough column, 21,296. That is the amount because we are calculating the amount. Compound interest is subtract the principal and you get the compound interest. This is the formula method which actually helps you a lot to calculate it fast without making mistake. Yeah, calculations are there, multiplication and divisions are there, but it depends upon question. If the question states by which method, you have to go by it. Or if there are questions like question number 2 which I explained, where there are stepwise also you have to calculate, you have to anyway go to the simple interest method. Question number 5. Find the amount and the compound interest on rupees 8,000 in 1.5 year at 10% per year rate, compounded half yearly. Now 1.5 year, compounded half yearly, so 3 conversion periods. Formula amount is P bracket 1 by R by 2 into 100. Why R by 2? Because now it is a half yearly calculation. 10% was per annum calculation. When you are now calculating it for every half yearly, you cannot give 10% because this was per annum. I have to now do it R by 2 to the power n. Substitute, cancel, multiply, answer. So we get the amount, subtract the principal, we get the compound interest. I have not taken many questions, only 5, and I have explained one type in between just now where a particular amount can be repaid at the end of any conversion period. I gave you one example because these are the only types which are there for standard 8 and you need this much. So I am telling you children, go through the video, solve the questions that are given in your textbook, and I am sure you are going to like the video and you will be able to do the exercise also. Children, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much. Bye children. Take care.